We begin in the United States, where President Donald Trump says he has ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned to, quote, appropriate regions closer to Russia. It comes as what he says is a response to, quote, highly provocative comments made by Russia's former president and current deputy chairman of the Security Council, Dmitry Medvedev. Trump did not specify what exactly Medvedev had said to antagonize him. So let's take a listen to what President Donald Trump said a while ago to reporters at the White House.
Oh, yeah, well, we had to do that. We just have to be careful. And a threat was made, and we didn't think it was appropriate, so I have to be very careful. So I do that on the basis of safety for our people. A threat was made by a former president of Russia, and we're going to protect our people.
All right, well, for more on this, I'm joined now by Stephen J. Blank. He's a non-resident senior fellow in the Foreign Policy Research Institute's Eurasia program and joins us from Washington. Great to have you on DW News. So, Stephen, how serious do we have to take Trump's deployment order?
Well, if he felt it was necessary to deploy submarines, he must have felt it was a serious threat, and we should take it seriously, too. The Russians like to make nuclear threats in order to intimidate the West from supporting Ukraine or doing anything that the Russians don't like. And we need to restore deterrence and make it clear to them that these threats will not stand.
Now, you mentioned Ukraine there. How is this connected to Putin and Trump's deadline to end the war there in Ukraine?
Well, the Russians have made it clear they're going to disregard the deadline. I think that's pretty obvious from everything that has happened. And President Medvedev, who functions these days as Mr. Putin's attack dog, although most of his threats are bluff, got up there and said that, you know, if you continue to threaten us with Ukraine, support for Ukraine and so on, we're going to have to use our nuclear doomsday machine, so to speak, the perimeter, which we could threaten America. The perimeter is a nuclear system that does not really require human beings to launch it. It's the last card in the deck, so to speak, for the Russians. And I think President Trump rightly said, we're not going to be threatened. And that's the end. You know, that was the move. So nobody should think that a nuclear war outbreak is imminent or even in the cards. But the Russians like to make these threats to frighten people and show what a big power they are. And it has to be taken down. It has to stop.
Now, Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is actually about to travel to Moscow. Wouldn't it be appropriate to let him discuss contentious issues?
Well, he's going to discuss contentious issues. That's not the question. He's going to have discussions with the Russians, maybe even negotiations, about issues on the Russo-American agenda. Probably Ukraine is the most important. But this is not going to stop those discussions.
Now, this let's call this this online spat that we've seen between Trump and Medvedev. There have been plenty of comments, particularly from Medvedev. You mentioned it there before that he's, not shy of giving his opinion. So I kind of want to go back to this.
But it's not his opinion; it's Putin's opinion. He's told to go out there and make these threats for Mr. Putin. So it's not he's going out there and doing something independent. So that has to be understood. This comes from the top.
All right. OK, we're going to leave it there, Stephen. But great to have your analysis there. Stephen J. Blank, who's a non-resident senior fellow in the Foreign Policy Research Institute's Eurasia program. Thanks.
Thank you.
So let's go to Washington now to speak to our correspondent, Misha Komodovsky. Misha, so maybe you could unpack this for us. I mean, what was said that prompted Trump to move these submarines?
Definitely lots to unpack here, Brandon. President Trump indeed says that he's ordered 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to be moved into position after what he called highly provocative remarks from Dmitry Medvedev, Russia's former president and current deputy head of its Security Council. Medvedev had warned that Trump's latest ultimatum, giving Russia just 10 to 12 days to end the war in Ukraine, could push the U.S. closer to war with Russia. Trump originally gave Russia 50 days to make peace, but this week said that waiting was pointless since there's been no progress. In Scotland, he said he's had enough and is tightening this timeline. In his Truth Social post, Trump also said that he was told that nearly 20,000 Russian soldiers died in July alone, with over 112,000 killed this year. And he added that Ukraine has also taken heavy losses, both military and civilian, and stressed again that this war should have never happened. And Medvedev escalates his threats in response to Trump on Telegram, referencing Russia's dead hand system. It's a Cold War era mechanism designed to automatically launch nuclear weapons if Russian leadership is destroyed in a first strike.
Okay, so let's get through maybe the hyperbole here. What is President Trump trying to tell us? I mean, is there a real new threat here?
Well, this latest post from President Trump is raising a lot of questions. I just spoke with several military experts here in the U.S., and there is still no clarity. Did the president mean nuclear-powered submarines or nuclear-armed ones? Because all U.S. Navy submarines are nuclear-powered, and the U.S. phased out all diesel-electric subs decades ago. Also, what exactly are the appropriate regions he mentioned, and how does this new deployment differ from their usual patrol routes? None of that has been explained so far, and Brett, this is not the first time that President Trump and Dmitry Medvedev have clashed publicly. The last time Trump responded directly to Medvedev was on, let me double check, it was on June 23rd. That day he took to Truth Social to sharply criticize Medvedev's warning that Iran could soon be armed with nuclear warheads. Trump slammed him for throwing around the N-word, as he said, meaning nuclear, and warned that such talk was dangerous. He ended the post with a jab saying, "I guess that's why Putin is the boss."
Yeah, well, let's hope that the N-word and these threats are restricted to just social media. DW's Misha Komodovsky in Washington with the latest. Misha, thank you.